People don't want to work. They're lazy. I don't know if necessarily the people that don't want to work and that are lazy that I'm referring to, the same people that Republicans and the right wing influencers are referring to, um, potentially. But all I know is what I know. I can tell you what I know, what I've experienced. And I can tell you what I'm talking about when I say they're lazy and they don't want to work. In the 15, how long has it been? I'll say in the last 15 years, from Virginia to New York State, every attorney that I've dealt with has been absolute garbage. I think that's accurate. I'm trying to think. From traffic tickets to real estate attorney that, the situation going on right now with the house squatters. Um, every single one, the general consensus is their focus is getting those checks. They're not trying to do any work. They're not trying to deliver any service. They're just trying to get paid. I mean, ultimately, that's the point of work. The purpose of work is to get paid so you can pay your bills. But the way you get paid is by delivering service, by doing work. The two go hand in hand. The desire to earn income with the actual delivery of some kind of service, which is the reason you get paid, right? But it seems like in their minds, there's only the desire for income and the receiving of the income. I want to get paid. You got money. You're willing to pay me. Pay me. Not really much thought in terms of the work. Generally speaking, the attitude that I've seen, in contrast to what we see on TV, is the attorneys that I've dealt with they've been paperwork attorneys. They're like, okay, we're gonna file this stuff in court, right? First of all, we're gonna tell you what you need to file in the first place. We need to file this X, Y, and Z, and they may not even explain it to you. They may just do it, like, so we're gonna file this in court. We'll get our court date, and they're gonna show up. They're gonna file the paperwork, and they're gonna show up when they're supposed to show up, so you don't have to show up, right? And they're gonna represent you. But there's no like research and let's look at case history. I don't see any evidence of it. Let's review the law and make sure all this, all the details. We're aware of all the details, all of the angles that we can approach this and kind of things like that. It's kind of cruise control, right? It's cruise control. Oh yeah, fill this out, send this in, blah blah, right? Very very minimal, right? And they don't want to do anything beyond that. Don't call them. Don't ask them any questions. Don't give them any updates. So, for example, just to give you some specific context. So I'm hiring you to do an eviction, right? And there's major things happening with tenants, right? You have police showing up. You have crimes being committed. You have serious like hygiene issues in terms of like trash on a property, which leads to rodents and all this kind of stuff going on. And interactions between the landlord and the tenant. All these are things that could help or hurt the case. You'd think the attorney would want to know that stuff, but they don't want to know that stuff. They don't want to hear anything. They just want to get their paycheck, and then they're gonna do what is legally required, so they don't get their license pulled. So they will file in court and do whatever, but they're not doing anything more than that, right? Then another example. So that's one field. So another example is real estate attorneys. Not real estate attorneys. Real estate agents. So right now I'm trying to get a long-term tenant, and I've been trying to do this since December of last year. I found one real estate agent when I was struggling with trying to get my property appraised because of the type of loan that I had. It was a real challenge, and I went outside the box and just went out and tried to find someone to help me. And this is the agent that the real estate agent that I found, who was like, "Yo, let me help you out. How can I help you out?" Right? I was like, "Wow, this guy, real good attitude. Like he he don't know nothing about me, and he's like, listen, I understand your situation or whatever. And it's not a normal thing, but I would like to help you. Let me know how I can help you." Right? So I was like, "Cool, this is great." First guy I ran into. So that was from when I was buying the house. Another guy, I think shortly after I bought the house, or shortly before, I saw him in front of the house, and it was like he was giving a tour or something. And I was like, curious. I'm a friendly guy. I talk to people all the time, strangers all the time. So I came up. I said, "Hey man, how you doing? What's going on? Beautiful neighborhood, right?" Like, "Yeah, it's nice." So we started talking, and then we ended up exchanging information. Turns out he's a real estate agent, right? So now I got these two real estate agents that I've been in contact with. Some really really cool people. Both are, verbally they're like, "Yeah, let's help you out." Blah blah blah. Right. Fast forward to now, I need to find a long-term tenant. The Airbnb passive income, is a joke. The market is really bad right now, really unstable, and with the financial crisis I got going on right now, where foreclosure is like right behind, right around the corner. I can't deal with inconsistent income. Like I have half of my property, which is a liability, where you have people that have been living for free for 6 months. So I can't have this other unit, somebody 2 weeks and then 3 weeks nobody. I need consistent income to keep this house afloat. I've been lucky so far; nothing major has happened. But if we have a pipe burst or something like that, it's gonna be a problem. Like, I have to keep the house in good condition, right? And it's a big house. It's a lot of expenses. You can't be running a big house like that, and then you're not, getting income from the house to justify it. So I said, listen, we got to get somebody long term. We got to get out of this Airbnb passive income, right? We need to get some more hashtag evil landlord game going on. So from December, I said this to both of these guys. They haven't brought me a single prospect since December, not one, right? I don't hear the one guy. He said gonna come and take photos. I arranged with the Airbnb guy, which you don't want to really mess with these people. These are my customers, right? They're paying to be left alone. They want to enjoy the space, do what they're doing. They don't want to be bothered. So for me to be calling and because if you're gonna take photos, the place got to be clean. So now you giving a task of like cleaning up the place, right? So there's that Airbnb right now sending me something. We're gonna talk about that in a second, but yeah. So you know, it's not ideal, right, to do it. But he was like, all right, cool, and we set a date. God doesn't show up. We set a second date. God doesn't show up. Now, I know it's it's easy from the outside looking in to critique. So I know a lot of people are gonna say, well, after that, you should have just dropped him. It's always easy from the outside looking in to make those kind of casual comments. And I'm not saying that statement is not correct, because I mean that 2 times not showing up. I mean that's not professional. Do you really want to work with somebody like that? However, when you see a consistent pattern of just like this is how people are, like what are you gonna do? Spend your whole life jumping from person to person to person to person, or at some point do is the right thing to do to realize that this is just how bad things are and lower your expectations? That's the question. Is there a point where you need to lower your expectations to realize things are that bad? Like, how many times do you need to the same like unprofessional and just like no want to work before you adjust and be like, listen, it is what it is. It's like you're in a prison, right? And you thought you were cool with another inmate, and then they betrayed you, and then you thought you were cool with another inmate, and then he betrayed you. Um, I mean, do you keep hopping from inmate to inmate to inmate to inmate, or at some point do you realize like, hey, I'm in a prison. There's not a lot of people of integrity around me because I'm surrounded by criminals. So, I'm not gonna hang out with that guy who might kill me, or worse. Um, but I can't be I can't be so picky in a prison, right? So is that where we're at in terms of just like people just not having work ethic, that I need to realize that things are that bad and I need to adjust to it? Or is it somehow it's my fault? I don't know. So anyway, so no show 2 times for the photos. No prospects since December, January, February, about to be March. Let me give you further context. 3 times I've looked for somebody myself and I found a person in a day. I found them in a day, and I was able to get, and that's with me charging at the top of the market. And understand, because I know I have more progressive viewers as well, who are going to be sensitive to the prices being high or whatever. Number one, I have prime real estate, so you're not going to expect to pay 20,000 for a Lamborghini, right? You know what I'm saying? If you 20,000 your budget, you get a Honda. And Honda's a nice car, Honda Accord. It's a nice car. It's not a Lamborghini, right? There's levels, right? And I'm at the top of the market in my local market. It's prime real estate, so it's going to be the expectation. Like everything is not going to be the same price, right? There's levels, right? So that's the first justification for that. And then two, just because I can charge at the top of the market doesn't mean that I should or would. But I'm in a financial crisis right now. I've gone 6 months with no rent from two of my tenants. That is half of my tenants. I mean, really, 2/3 of my tenants, to be fully accurate. But so number one, I'm in a hole big time. My credit has been destroyed. My balances were zero before I bought the house. Now they're like 50%, 60%. Like things are bad financially. And if something breaks and I have to pay big money for a new heater or whatever, like it's going to be a problem. I don't have much credit available to me at this point. So if I get somebody in there, I need to be able to recover as quickly as possible, not just for my sake, but for everybody's sake, because people are living in my house. I need to be able to maintain it. In order to maintain it, I need to have sufficient income coming in. I need to get my finances. I mean, it's a business, right? You imagine you running think about even a hotel. You run a hotel and you don't do your accounting properly, and you can't afford to fix the roof, and you let the roof get really bad, and then next thing the roof caves in and one of your guests gets injured. You know what I mean? Like it's not for fun, right? If you're gonna run a business where you have people that they're living in or gonna be like even a store. You have a store and you cut corners and something, maybe you try to do the electrical work yourself, and then one of your customers gets electrocuted. You know what I mean? Like you gotta have your finances in order. So I need to get at top of the market to get somebody in there to get things stable as quick as possible. Also, the risk. Clearly, I've learned that this business has become really, really risky due to a lot of these one-sided laws that are focused only on protecting the tenants, right? The laws are set up in a way that puts me in a very, very exposed and vulnerable situation where, one person can absolutely destroy not just me, but everybody else in the building, which is what's happening right now. You have other tenants whose lives are being, I don't know the word I want to use, but just to say messed with by one selfish individual, and I, the homeowner, can't really do anything. They're able to be there and not pay and create all kinds of havoc. So, the riskier a business is going to be more cost, right? If you're going to hire someone to be a security guard in some nice neighborhood, versus you're gonna hire someone. Well, that's maybe not a good analogy, but I think you get the point. Um, the more, like, even in the military, you dealing with bombs, there's hazard pay, right? It's a riskier job. You got to incentivize people to take those kinds of risks. So if you want to have people share their homes with other people, I'm going to have a home and I'm going to make it available for other people to live in. And you're going to increase the risks for me, where you're going to say, listen, we're going to let somebody live there and not pay, and we're just going to abandon you. Um, you've got to incentivize someone to take on that kind of risk. Like, you're gonna put in a situation where I could lose my house, I could lose everything, right? You're going to have to incentivize that. And it's not just a matter of incentivizing it, it's also a matter of security, because with that kind of risk, you need to have more money in terms of safety net, right? You need to have more money to be able to weather this. How do you keep the power on? How do you keep the building in good condition when the government will allow your income to be cut off for a significant amount of time, and they'll just be like, tough cookies, right? So if no one's gonna look out for you, no one's gonna defend you, got to look out for yourself. So that means you need to bring in enough money that you can weather these types of things. So it's not hard to find somebody, right? Clearly, I actually found someone in the span of this since December. I found somebody a month ago, and it was in with a couple of days I found them. And she looked like she would have been a high quality tenant. She just sold her condo. Um, so this somebody had her finances in order, had enough money to buy a condo. She just sold it. She in this market, she probably made a good profit on that sale. So probably would have been. She seemed like a good person and everything like that. Um, and I was good to go. Unfortunately, she had an allergic reaction, so that fell through. But I don't have no experience. I'm finding people quick every single time. That one was in the middle of winter, top dollar. She was willing to pay at the top of the market. She didn't even blink an eye, right? I got two professional real estate professionals since December, not even a single prospect. Don't want to work. This is what you do for a living. They're not doing it as a favor, right? If they put somebody in there, they're gonna get a nice paycheck, right? They want the paycheck, they don't want to do the work. I don't get it. But here's my final frustration. Unfortunately, I don't live in that world. I don't know. So I'm stupid with my character and who I am. I mean, I believe in delivering service. I believe in delivering for my customers. Um, so I work really hard, man. I'm the guy who, even for that person that's not paying, I was out there. Neighbors saw this. I was out there in the cold, raining, with my flashlight on the little railing, kept rolling over, and I kept having to whatever, um, knowing that same person who I'm setting up a mailbox for has a kid who is associated with gangs, right? So we got those kind of people, around, and I'm out here at night, whatever. So in the back of my mind is the potential of somebody trying to mess with me, right? So there's a risk to me, but I'm out there. I promised her that I would put up her box by the door where she wanted it. Actually, that wasn't even something that she requested. Everybody has their mail coming in one box. I know it's a frustration, right? So I promised that I would separate it and give her her own box. I told her when I would do it, and I did it when I would do it. That's how I get down. I work really hard for Airbnb because just who I am, but also on top of that. So I'm already want to, like, above and beyond, but I have to even above and beyond, because the way it works with Airbnb, these gig economy, is you do everything right, and the person could find one issue and it's a disaster. And anybody outside looking in, talk to that person, and it's like you're a horrible person somehow, right? I've been up till 10 o'clock at night getting the place ready for a guest coming the next day, juggling my job, trying to shield this from my job, you know, I mean, insanity, stressed out. Right? I had to take a day off because I was just like burning out. So I'm going crazy trying to keep people happy, knowing that even with all that effort, that it's still a possibility that they're gonna find something. And I've had a couple people that did find something, and they were like, oh, this is you just can't please everybody. So here I have somebody right now, been there. It's gonna be a 54-day thing, a good little run, top of the market in terms of price, um, and everything was going great from my perspective. I mean, body language, everything, every communication I had with this person seemed great. Everything was good. I kept asking, "How's everything?" She's like, "Everything's good. Everything's good." Um, then that realtor that didn't bring me anything for all this time wanted to take photos. I reached out to her, asked her if he could come. Uh, um, can he contact her to just to schedule, to coordinate? Like instead of me being a middleman, he talked directly to you. So when you propose a time, like he knows his schedule, you know your schedule. I don't know either of your schedule. So I don't want to talk to her and then she says something. I go to him and he says, "Oh no, ask her." Blah blah blah. It doesn't make any sense. That's all I wanted. Did not like that at all. So all of a sudden, things I didn't know were an issue came out. So she didn't like that I came by as many times as I did. It's a long-term guest. There's plants there need to be taken care of. There was an issue with the camera. Also, one of the bedrooms in the unit I used for storage. So there was one time I went in there to get my stuff out. Um, and there's also two of the plants were having issues. So I needed to deal with that. I had to repot one of them. Um, but again, I didn't know there was an issue previously. But apparently, this was a big problem for her. And I get it. Young, let's just say young, let's just say she was a teenager not too long ago. Let's leave it at that. Um, and female. I'm some old creepy guy, I guess, bearded up. So she probably felt uncomfortable, whatever, whatever. Um, and you know, and it's like it just a snowball. It keep getting worse. She said that, and then further communication. Then she's talking about, how come now she contacted her father now, and telling him, I'm contacting her on her phone. Why am I contacting her on her phone? And now today, I just found out. I thought everything was resolved. Like I was like, I said, don't worry about the photos. Don't worry. Like customers are always right. That's my philosophy. So I was like, you know what? If she don't want to do it, I'm not gonna push her. My focus is I want to make sure she has a good experience. Um, so I said, don't worry about that. And I thought we were good. Like I said, it's a snowball. It just some that day with that thing with the picture request. That was it. So now she sent me a message. She's been looking for another place. So this is a little over 2 weeks before she's supposed to leave. And she wants to be out in a week. At the end of the day, maybe I lose 2 weeks, but I'm in a crisis right now, so losing anything is a big deal. So after all I did, I even had a cleaner go and clean up the place in the middle of her stay, no cost to her. She didn't ask for it. I was trying to be above and beyond. Um, I gave her a voucher, a meal voucher when she came in for some restaurant or something like that. So she got a free meal. Um, right? So that's me busting my ass, going above and beyond, pushing to the limits of what I'm physically capable of. Again, to the point where I went too far a couple of times where I had to take a day off. Um, and right now I'm not in the best state. I mean, I'm all right, but I mean I'm definitely feeling down with everything, right? The house, and then now I'm losing a guest, and just and now she's gonna give me a bad review, and that will be really bad because most of my guests have been females. So not only will one bad review be bad because I'm just starting out. So if you get one bad review, if you only got 3 reviews and one of them is bad, that's a third of your reviews is bad, right? So I have that mathematics going for me. But on top of that, most of my guests are female. What is the effect of a female saying anything weird about me? Like, I know a lot of women are already going to be, have anxiety issues with like staying in some stranger's place or whatever with this Airbnb thing. If you have any inclination that the guy was some weirdo, like if she says anything about me coming in the place too much, the stuff that she says, if she says that on a review, that could be devastating. I mean, fortunately, I'm moving away from the Airbnb, but I may want to use it in the future, right? When if I get somebody long term, when I get somebody long term, when they leave, I might want to get somebody in there temporarily or whatever. It's a good thing to have. But if she get a bad review, that thing's gonna be sitting there. That'll be the last review. And it might be interesting that, you know, I have a few reviews and the last one was scary and then nothing since then. And then what's Airbnb gonna do? Are they gonna like, cause I'm expendable. They don't care about me, right? They corner the market. They don't care. Like, oh, I'm not worth the risk. I'm a small potatoes, man, with passive income. They quickly get rid of me. If they don't get rid of me, they put notes on my account. That's what they do. Like you said, all that Twitter file stuff that people all getting excited about. I mean, that's the thing that these companies do, man. Behind the scenes, they put things on your account, right? And it affects your performance. Sounded sexual. Anyway, yeah, so now she wanna leave now. So I don't get it, man. I don't understand how so many people just don't want to work. They're just so lazy, right? And again, I don't think these are people that the Republicans talking about, but I don't get how they're so lazy, don't want to do no work, and then I am the opposite. And listen, man, you know that's how that's the glass half empty, right? Glass half full. My reviews are on point. 5-star. Tremendous feedback. So I have been winning. Even with the bad stuff. I had one guy said the place was messy and this and that, and he wanted to leave on the very night. Didn't want to even stay and spend the night there. He could have hit me, right? Uh, the way he described things versus reality, man. But he didn't hit me. You know, I still above and beyond. I give him his money back, whatever. Sorry things didn't work out, and he let it be. And I had a couple other little things here and there, but through my hard work and how I get down, I guess glass half full. All really good reviews, really good reviews. Got superhost status, all that. But on the other hand, this one woman could destroy it all, and for no reason. I mean, it's not like she's in there and the heater doesn't work or something's not working or there's noise all the time. Although one of those squatters did start playing his music loud and she did complain about that, but that hasn't been an ongoing thing. So, and I've seen her. I see her on the cameras coming in and out. She seems happy. She's talking to her friends, chilling with her. I mean, she's got a nice place with a view and everything. I mean, as far as I know, everything's been good. So to come from this situation to, I have to leave, and then give me a nasty review. I've always been responsive. It's not really much more that I could have done. So to go all out and give it your all, and then to get destroyed. And again, I'm busting my ass. Meanwhile, these other people are just sitting on their asses with their hands out, want to get paid. But I'm talking about lawyers and real estate agents. Who is the GOP talking about when they say they're lazy? That's the question. This is Baby Channel. Debate in the comment section below. Click on the like button, subscribe, smash that bell. Now, let me see what she's talking about. She's trying to get a refund for the rest of the days. But whatever. I mean, Let me respond to her.